the type of person you never had to wonder where you stood with Katie.
Yeah.
But she loved with everything, in her. She was such a sweet girl, and she loved her family dearly, and she had her little boy. She adored him, and I think he was what was going to make Katie turn around and grow up and do a lot of better things. And she was really outspoken. She was that type of person. She was funny to talk to because you never had to wonder what she was thinking or feeling.
I think the same could be said about myself. If people are here to ask, yep. If you don't want to know, don't go ask Ashley.
Right, me too. It's like if you don't want your feelings hurt, if you don't want the truth, don't come to me. So yeah,
she was really close with her, and now with her dad.
Yeah, she was really close with her dad. They had a really special bond, and she called him all the time, and she never went more than a few days without calling him and just checking in, and she would stay between him and her mother. She would, go back and forth and stuff, but she always kept in contact with him. That was when she did go missing, that was what was the final thing that was like, okay, something's really wrong here, because she would never have not called.
See, and I understand, and I think that's very important because, like, in my family, I'm the type, I'll drop off the face of the earth. If I ever go missing, it would probably be like a month before people realize that I was, but there are people that do, and it would be like, oh, she's probably off somewhere, she'll be back, and it would take some time for them to,
right.
So I think that's really important that people know that she was in contact. She
was
those people
constant. Yeah. Yeah. So she had. Now,
when did you meet Katie? How old were?
She was probably 7 or 8 years old whenever I met her. My husband has known Daryl, her dad, and the family for years, long before Katie was born. But whenever I married my husband, I met her, and she was such a pretty little girl with big brown eyes and the brown curly hair. She was a doll. Yeah. So I've known her maybe 16 years.
Yeah. So yeah, it's safe to say that you know her pretty well.
Yeah.
Her routines, or her, even if she would get, not be around for a few days, you just kind of know those things, how she would check in and stay in communication.
And her dad has health issues, and she would never have worried him like this. Never.
I do want to talk about that part too, but I think we'll start from and because I think that's really important for people to understand. Like, as far as the people that think that she just walked away, I really make it a point to her that's just not the case here.
That's just not the case. It would never have happened. Never. You couldn't convince me in a million years that she would have walked away from her family and her child like this. Never.
Right, that's the vibe.
It just wasn't her. She depended on her dad to buy her cigarettes, or, and so many people have wondered, like, why she didn't have a cell phone. She didn't work. Katie didn't work.
People think she had. That's the thing that I want to clear up, because a lot of the articles say that she left her cell phone, but
she did not have one. No. She had one before, but, she didn't work, so she couldn't keep up the bill. Mm-hmm. And so she did not have a working cell phone.
I'm sure that made it a lot harder, because
if she'd have had a cell phone, they could have pinged it and found her locations and that kind of thing, but she didn't have one. So
now, I think the best place to start is just take us back to either the days leading up to her going to her mom's, because she was dropped off at her mom's.
Yeah, so she had been staying with her dad. Like I said, she would go from one to the other, from mom to dad, and she had been at her dad's, and she had a court date set up. They had a court date for her. They were trying to get her into a rehab.
She was willing and looking forward to.
Very willing, yeah, because she was ready to straighten up.
Yeah.
And she was actually clean, but she needed a long-term facility to help her, stay that way.
Routine instead of.
Right. So her dad, she wanted to go to her mom's before her court date, so he had took her down there and he dropped her off, and he told her that he would be back to get her in a few days before her court date. And that was the last time he saw her. Her mother, the morning that she disappeared, her mother said that, or the day of, that morning they had went to Lafayette, Tennessee, which where Katie lived was just on the Kentucky-Tennessee line. So they went across to the Tennessee line to pay the electric bill. So that may sound funny to people. There's an electric company around here that's like several counties in the area. So they had went to pay the electric bill and came back, and there was a disagreement. But Katie's mother went and laid down to take a nap, and she doesn't know where Katie went from there, is basically what we have found out recently.
Her not having a cell phone again, that just makes it so.
Right. So we don't know if she
was in communication with who.
Yeah. We don't know if she somehow called somebody, like from her mom's phone or house or whatever.
Is this in town, or is this like a rural outside where we can see?
It's out in nowhere. It's in the country. Gravel roads, and she's way out in the country. There are houses along the way, but they're spaced, and it's a lot of farmland and stuff like that. So it's just been difficult because, nobody knows. Nobody knows if she called somebody and somebody picked her up, or if she walked away. She did have friends that were camping at the creek, but it was like 3 miles away, and nobody ever saw her there. There was always, people there, and
nobody's seen her. And I'm assuming if she was meeting somebody there, they would confirm or deny if she ever.
Right. And those friends have actually denied seeing her. So.
Man. It's just like she walked out and she literally just vanished. Now, when you filed the report, what did the officers do immediately?
Not a lot. So her mom filed a police report. I think the date on that is like October the 11th. So there was some time there that was waited. I don't know if maybe she thought that Katie would just come back, or I really don't understand,
Without her on a phone, there's just no communication there, really.
Right. So as soon as we found out that she was missing, we started looking ourselves, her dad, Daryl, and me and my husband, and, and her stepmother, and we were all contacting her friends and trying to get a hold of everybody that we knew that she would hang out with or whatever.
They never mentioned, an odd name that she was talking to or brought up, or anybody that she was.
No. And everybody was like, well, no, I've not seen her, and it was like, okay. And then it, kind of set in that these people aren't seeing her. Like, what's happened, And
now, did they do an immediate search, and what all did they?
So there was no immediate search, and it was at first reported to the local police department. I don't want to make anybody mad, but it was like they did nothing. There was really not a lot done. It's a small town, and there was just not a lot of anything shown that they did. If they were doing anything, we weren't aware of it.
Yeah, which I understand, but I still think they shouldn't leave families feeling
right
they're doing nothing if that's the case. So
right, it was turned over to the Kentucky State Police, and the first person that was on the case was he was just a basic trooper. He wasn't a detective. And so I guess that was why he really didn't do anything with it either.
Yeah.
And the following, of course, this was in October, November, it was cold. We didn't immediately think to get a search together. We thought, the cops had to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, by the spring of the next, by the time spring rolled around, I was like, I've got to figure out somehow to do something. Something's got to be done. So I got in contact with there's a Kentucky Bloodhound, search and rescue team, and I got a hold of them through talking to people and just trying to figure out, because if you've never had a missing person that you've been associated with, you don't know how to do these things. So I got a hold of some people on Facebook. They put me in contact with the one that organizes that, and we started doing searches. And we did 3 searches, 3 separate locations. No, wait. 4 searches of different areas, 3 different days. I'll put it that way. So we searched like 2 locations one day, 1 location, then another, and it was just, and they brought dogs. The first search, they brought the live man trail dogs, where you bring a scent article, and they searched that way, and nothing was hit on. And then they brought in the next time we did a bigger search, and that's when we did the 2 different locations, and they brought in 2 cadaver dogs and the man trail dog, and
she is a monkey, everybody. That is just so everybody knows what's going on. She has a monkey.
They're probably thinking something's going on back there. She's just having fun. She's throwing her balls around in her cage right now.
Now, in any of these searches, did professionals like Ellie or professional search team? Now, the lady with the dogs brought this. But by this time, it was how long after she initially? Seasons, right? With the rain and the snow.
Yeah, so November, December.
And I'm not quite sure. I don't want to discredit because I don't know enough about. But I would think
8 months
with all of that it would kind of dilute the scent, maybe.
They did tell me that
wonderful if they're out there immediately, but I think with the elements, they
right. So they did tell me that if she had walked away from the house alive, they could still find her scent years, which
really
is you think, well, how? But they did say that they could. But then with the cadaver dogs, there's no time limit. They find bones and teeth and, so nothing was
not hit
on anything. And we actually were able to search Katie's mom's house. She gave us permission. We searched her house inside and out.
And you know they were working because you told me that you had the article
right
in the car, and the dog kept going. So we know that they
right. So I had a purse of hers, and it had some clothes in it, and it that she had just thrown back into the bag. Whether she wore them or touched them, either way, her scent was on the articles. There was makeup in there that she had used. So we know the dogs were working because after letting the dogs smell inside the bag, I put it back in my Jeep. And as we were searching, they would, circle and go around and look, and they kept coming back to the Jeep and coming back to the Jeep. And it was like the bag was in there. So
they would know. They were definitely doing their job.
Yeah. But maybe with all, like, right after Katie went missing, there was a huge flood. There was a whole lot of rain that season. And, maybe it washed it away where it was just so hard to pick up or something. But
I would think.
Yeah. And we, we kept going back and to different areas or farther out, and nothing. We never found anything.
Has there ever been any type of lead or person, or not saying the name, but a name that popped up or anything like that?
Oh my gosh. Look, I have a whole book, and I'm not going to show what's in it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole section that is leads. That's things we've done as well. Like I keep track of all the searches and everything, but we've got so many leads. But here's the crazy thing. Like, people are telling these stories saying, this is what happened. I talked to so-and-so. He was with her. They were here. He saw her doing this at this place, blah, blah, blah. And then when the detective goes to check on the lead, it makes no sense. I mean, a lot of it is really crazy, far out there stuff. And there's nothing that we've not been told. There have been some really crazy, sad things.
I bet.
People don't care to tell us the stuff. But nothing ever checks out. Like, detectives know how to find out if this matches with this and if it's possible at all. And
just based in any of it.
Yeah.
Which is just so crazy. I just don't understand. I mean, whether it was out in the country and nobody's seen, whispers, somebody, whether they know, they have to know something.
Right.
Just to walk out the door and just
vanish.
You
can't just, there's no possible way that happened. Something happened. Somebody has to know. And
now everybody has been cleared closest to her. There's nobody suspects anybody from within.
Right. So her mom, of course, being the last one to see her, they asked her to take a lie detector, a polygraph test, and she did take one. She passed it. Yeah. She does not know anything. She doesn't have there's no indication that she's been involved in anything. She's been cleared. And right now that's what they're doing. Because of COVID, they were not able to do the polygraphs and bring people into the station, and but now that's opened back up, and they have been doing interviews and polygraph tests.
I just wanted that to be known because she was the last place she was, and I didn't want anybody to attack somebody that doesn't need to be.
Right. And to be honest, I mean, a lot of people have come to us and said, oh, well, her mother was involved and this and that. And
So
people that her mother probably thinks are her friends have even come and said stuff, but it's
she
not.
has been cleared. She had passed. She is not
Yes.
ever in, will never. So I just wanted to make that a point.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I because myself, when I first heard about it, I wondered, well, is it possible that she changed her mind and she didn't want to go to rehab and she disappeared? Even if that was the case, would she still stay in contact with her father?
Yeah. He would not have forced her to go. He was just trying to get her, look, Katie, this is what you need to do. This is going to help you. And she was in agreement with it.
She was, yeah.
So
Important
if she had decided that she wasn't going to go, he would have said, you know what? Fine.
Yeah. I mean, because she was an adult, there was only so much that he could do.
Right.
And they were very close. And
Yeah.
for the people that think that she just walks away, I think we need to, you don't have to talk about anything that you don't want to, but kind of, I think it's a big point to sit, at least her dad, why she would never just, and
Right.
why he went through. I know he has some medical issues, and I know that he has been through some other things in the past that, and Katie.
Right.
So I think.
So I'm not 100% on what year it was. I know it was close to 2000. Daryl lost his first son. He was shot and killed. And within 6 months, his second son drowned. And so he has lost two kids already.
So
it was devastating to him,
And the only reason why I want to talk about is for Katie to just walk away, knowing, and those people, I just wanted to make a fact that, I believe in my heart, I don't think that Katie would just walk away after everything that her family has been through.
Right. She knew how much that hurt her dad to go through that. And, but he has said, losing them was really hard, but at least he knows what happened and he knows where they're at. And with Katie, it is so hard because he doesn't know. Like, you want to hope that she's still out there and alive and can be found, but it's so hard to imagine her not coming and at least calling and saying, hey, I'm alive, you know.
Just hearing about her, I think, no matter what she would have done, she would, for her father's sake, at least reached out to him and let him know that she was okay.
Right.
And there has never been any kind of contact.
No. None whatsoever. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to make that, for the people out there that say, oh, she was an adult, she was going through some things, she wanted to run away from it. I think that can be debunked a million times over, that was just an option.
But the thing about it with Katie, some people, they go down this bad path and their parents and their family are like, you know what, I'm sorry. But yeah, a lot of people when they're going through that, like, their family is like, I'm done with you, I'm not going to deal with it, and that's just not what kind of family she had. Her mother or her father would never have shunned her or been done with her. And she knew that. She knew that they would always be there for her.
Yeah.
And,
I know what it's like. I've called my parents many times, like, hey, can I get $5-6 for a pack of cigarettes, And she just had that type of relationship.
Right.
Where
exactly. Yep.
So it's hard for me to believe that she would just walk away. And maybe she did go take some time, but I just still can't believe that she would just leave everybody in the dark.
But right, if she had left on her own and maybe stayed out a few days, maybe even a week at the most, I would think, and then come back, it would have been different. But
And
it's
she
been
was a
2 years.
shy of going to get better, to
Yeah,
establish.
right. And her dad has had a heart attack and a stroke. He had both of those right at the same time. And she knows that he, doesn't need that stress. That added stress on him is just, it could have been it for him. Like, Daryl has been, so he's really dealt with a lot of health issues and stuff, and she just wouldn't have done that to him. She would never have done that to him. I don't think she would have done it to any of her family, but especially him, because they have a really close bond. Me and him have sat for hours and talked about, how close they were and why this is just not her just walking away.
I don't think that she would have the heart to do that, just from hearing about her. And
Right.
I just don't think that she was that type of people. Now, like I said, me, I can disappear forever and not get a hold of anybody. And so there are people out there like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, probably the only person that would look for me would be my husband and kids and my mom. Other than that, everybody else would be like,
So it is possible, and I don't want people to think that these families are naive to that. It's just
right.
when they're the closest to these people and they're saying that is just not a possibility, or who they were, we need to listen. And we just need to shut that down immediately and focus on what's important.
Right.
So has there been any information update?
Other than like a few weeks ago, they've really started pushing really hard. The detectives have. The case has changed hands a few times, but I feel like right now it's in really, really capable hands.
Good.
Um,
Fresh eyes also. I think that's really important.
Yeah. And they are really, really trying to nail down these leads and make sure that, what's not true and what might be true and that type of thing. And they're doing the polygraphs and they're actually searching. They have done one search around Katie's mom's house just to make sure, because the detective said, well, maybe she did walk off and maybe got back in there, and you never know. Anything could happen. And
it was the last place she was, I'm sure that they need to clear every avenue there before they can.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they looked and they didn't find anything, but they were going to, once they got some polygraphs done and kind of got a little more of an idea of what was true and what was not, they were going to expand the search, go farther from the house, bring in more people, have a bigger team, and just do a walkthrough search where everybody walks in a line and, goes around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if they've done that yet. I've not talked to the detective this week. I've been talking to him quite a bit lately, but I've not talked to him this week. So they may have already done it. I don't know.
That's awesome. I'm just glad to hear that. I mean, it would have been awesome if they would have, did this.
It would have been nice if it was, but it would have been nice if it would have been done.
All the evidence that could have been around, a trace, anything, a direction that this, scent could have left in.
Yeah.
I'm hoping too much isn't lost to where they can.
Yeah.
They can figure it out, because it is a very, very hard case with, like I said, with not having a cell. You can't go into her phone and see who she was talking to in the minutes leading up to or any of that information. So they are really just at this point in the dark, and
It's
I believe somebody out there, I don't care how far out in the country she was, people speak. I think it's really hard for people that do things to keep it to themselves. They kind of have to go out there and let it be like solidified by speaking. And I think, this person could have been saying it and people not take them serious and they don't know that they know something. And
right,
I tell everybody, I think the littlest details sometimes blow a case right open.
right.
And I think, that's what this is going to take. And I think, and timelines, I think are really important because people can think back to where they were during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have seen something they didn't realize that they seen.
Didn't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I do this. I just think somebody has to know something and they might not even know it. Or
Right.
they heard it and was like, oh, they're just
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I think everything like that needs to be put on record and explored.
Yeah. Well, that's why I write everything down, because if I don't write it down, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
So I take
records are important. If it's not written down, you can't prove it. It doesn't count.
Right, right. And I have even had people, like, we started the Facebook page to try and like get her face out there. And if anybody wants to tell something, a lot of people don't feel real comfortable going to the police.
That's what I was going to ask next.
Yeah, so we have the Facebook page, and I have actually had people that come to me and they're like, well, I'm scared of this person and I don't want to tell the cops because I don't want my name brought into it. I want to
say they won't bring your name in, and then if you look at some cases, names slip out. And
so when it comes to putting pressure on people, they will bring out names. So I've got that group, and
I have that. That's that on the screen is correct, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That would be the best place to go. Like I always tell people, message me. Do not send me tips. Do not post tips in the comments. Please keep it behind doors. Please go to the right people.
Yeah. So I have went to the cops and told them, hey, I've got an anonymous tip, and I won't release the name of who said it, but this is what I'm being told, and they will go check it out.
Absolutely. And that would be the best way to do things, because I tell everybody, this is just to get information out. I would never want to do or have somebody do something that would mess up an investigation. I think it makes a lot of people nervous. So I always make sure, please don't put it out on Facebook. If you're afraid of the police, please go to you guys, because you guys would be the best play. I wouldn't know. I mean, I have my, your GoFundMe and your pages and tip line, but if you want to weigh around all of that, I won't know. You will know best. So
I can definitely
go join the group. Just go there and get all the information.
And I can definitely, relay any information, because I don't care to do it, and I will leave names out if I need to, just so that I have enough information. I have to have enough to take and say, this is what I'm being told. But it's definitely, we've definitely got a lot of leads through there. Of course, nothing's checked out, but
I'm hoping somebody out there has it, and they just might not know they have it. And I really hope that they see this and they think back and they realize that maybe that they could give something. And that's there are 3 things I can hope for: is the officers tell me to shush it because they're going to take it over, the media gets a hold of it, or somebody comes forward with that one piece of information. And that's all we hope for.
Her family just needs, they need to know if she's alive. They need her back. And if she's not, they need to know. They need to be able to.
Regardless, she just needs to come home.
Right. Yeah, they need that so bad.
We hope more than anything it's alive, but I tell everybody, I can imagine families get to a certain point where they start to realize, we just want her home now.
Right.
And that's got to be a whole other reality that I can't even imagine having to come to. But
Yeah.
it's the truth. Regardless, they need to come home.
Right. Right. They need the answers. They need to know,
And the people responsible, if there are,
Yeah.
need to be held accountable.
100%.
So that's why we do this. And I urge everybody to share. Like I said, they want you to come and ask the questions, but just do it in a way. I think we all have common sense enough to know how to do that in a way that won't mess up the
Yeah.
investigation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just pray that somebody out there sees this and they come to you. That's the
Yeah.
best outcome I can hope for.
Right.
Now she has a son also, which I feel is another reason she would never just walk away, let alone walk away without him.
Right. He's 3 now. And he's at the age, I mean, he knows who she is. They show him pictures, he knows that's mama. But he's at the age now where he's like, but where is she? And why isn't she here? And what do you tell him? You don't know. And his paternal grandparents have him. His dad's father and stepmother have him. And they had him when Katie disappeared. They had already taken him. But that was another thing that she was fighting for and wanted to get clean for, was so she could get him back.
Absolutely. If you don't have any, that's a big enough reason for me.
Yeah. If you're not going to get clean for your kids,
Yeah.
So he was the one thing that I think would straighten her up.
And that's where I want everybody, she may have gone through things and she may have been straight, but I think people get caught up on things and they make details more important than the details that really need to be important.
Right.
And she was trying to get her life together, and that's all that matters. Because I know plenty of people out there that just don't,
Well, and it's like, everybody makes mistakes. And everybody can come back from that. And you don't have to,
be known for that.
Right. Regardless of what she did, she was still a human being. She was still a mother and a daughter and a sister and an aunt and a friend. And, she was somebody to a lot of people. And
it wasn't like, I know plenty of people out there that struggle with being on drugs and they're just terrible people to begin with. But not everybody, they're not terrible people.
Right.
Yeah, she just seemed like she had a very big heart and she cared a lot about her family. And I think that is more important than anything that she was struggling with.
Right. Absolutely.
And it just breaks my heart that people just deem or think, oh, well, then that probably, and
right. Like that's all of who she was.
It probably had nothing to do with what she was struggling with or going through, and the two are probably so unrelated.
Right.
And and that's a lot of things that I read in the articles. They all made a point to mention that. And it's just like, why? Why is that? That has nothing to do.
Yeah. Regardless. Right.
And it's a shame.
That was
a lot of people think, oh, I'm never in those situations, so I wouldn't be caught up in that. But it doesn't matter where you are. You could be shopping at the grocery store, and if somebody has wrong intentions,
right.
You could be the cleanest person, you could be the nicest person, or it doesn't matter.
Regardless, she didn't deserve whatever has happened. And
that doesn't make her any less deserving of coming home.
Right. she made mistakes, but that's not who she was. That does not define her.
I tell you what, if we were all based on, if that's how they based on
Oh
can't
my
be mom,
goodness.
I would never. I mean, like I said, I disappear as it is, but once they found out, they would be, I would never come back.
I know. I mean, you know, I've made my fair share of mistakes in life, but you know, that's not who I am. So
No, that is totally unrelated, and that doesn't make anybody less deserving of
right.
getting that information out there, or the people reporting the right information. I think that's what they do, is they just hear a story and they pick out parts that they want.
Yeah.
They think is going to bring a lot of attention, but it brings a lot of the wrong attention.
Right. Exactly.
So if there is anybody out there that thinks they might know something, even if it's just, you think it's hearsay and full of bull, I'm pretty sure that you guys want to hear it and let the proper people rule that out.
That's their job to rule it out. Yeah.
So please, I'm pretty sure that you guys, if it were me, I would never get tired of reading possible leads and having people come to me.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll never take one possibility and say, that's probably not it, or even if I think that, I still, let's let them deal with it and they can do their job and see if that's what it is. And,
And I think maybe that's what a lot of people battle. Like, is it important enough to even mention?
Right.
Yeah, even, and maybe somebody out there saying, I don't want to cause more pain, but I think, at this point, please, because we would rather sift it out.
Yes. Like I said, there's nothing that we've not already heard.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some really, really awful things that we've been told, and it's gut-wrenching. But, you have to be told to know
what you guys strong, because it's really important here.
Yeah.
And honestly, I could sit here and say and imagine all day and say this, but I do not know if I could be that strong. I really think I like to say I know myself pretty well. I think I would not be any help in the beginning. It would take me some time. So you guys are very, very strong. And
I say all the time, I don't know how Daryl gets up and functions every day with, what all, not just this, but all the loss as a parent. It's amazing that.
And I think people look at that and they think, well, they're getting on with their lives, they're moving forward, and they don't understand, like, that's almost like autopilot mode.
Right.
You get up and you do all these things, but I don't think people realize that he's probably still on that day when that phone call.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of strength for him to get up and do those things.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not, he's definitely struggled and still struggling. I mean, it kills me. He has done a couple of interviews with me, and I've gotten the interviews together, and he's come here and we've done them, and
it takes a toll.
It breaks my heart every time I have to say, hey, Daryl, I got an interview, because he wants her face pushed out there, but I know, like, for 2 or 3 days after that, you just kind of escapes. And
I bet after that, it did a little bit mentally and for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we would be human if that didn't, because
right.
I cannot imagine, and my heart breaks for him all the way around. One child is unimaginable.
Yeah. 2, it would be
almost off the charts.
Yeah.
And
then a 3rd not even knowing.
It's just, like, statistically, it's just crazy. Right. And I couldn't imagine what would happen to me if one of my kids.
I know.
And that just, again, and that just speaks to how strong he is, and he knows what's important for Katie now.
Yeah. It makes it all that much more important to find her.
And I just don't want people to get it. He's going through a lot. He's been through a lot. He's doing
Yeah.
rough, and I don't want people to confuse that with he doesn't care or he's giving up or he's losing hope, because I'm sure that's not the case.
Oh, no,
He's
not at all.
human. And
Right.
he's gone through what would break somebody once 3 times now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's definitely, you can definitely see that it's taken a physical toll on him. To look at him now and 2 years ago, it's
yeah, I bet.
it's crazy. I was sitting out on my porch the other day and we were talking, and and I was just like, man, he looks so frail now. Yeah.
I can't imagine, and God forbid, I've talked to many families where siblings have disappeared and parents have passed. And me, I believe, they know now, but it just breaks my heart that if just leaving and not knowing, and, I'm sure he's had health problems. He's up in age, and this needs to be taken care of before.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was just sick, he had COVID as well and was in the hospital. And
which I'm happy to hear that he's doing better.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. Yeah, he's doing a lot better with it. But with everything that's went on, it was really scary because you just wonder if he's going to give up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I bet you that urge had to be unimaginable, so strong.
Yeah.
And for him to choose to fight just makes him even stronger.
Yeah. For sure.
It just gives me, I can't even imagine. It just gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Just having to.
Yeah.
Because I believe he could, in situations like that, you have a choice to just give up and
yeah, for sure.
I really fully believe that. So he had to make an active decision to stay and fight.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome, and it's strong. It's so strong.
It is. Yeah. I don't know if I could be as strong as he is. Yeah.
I especially with the amount of times he's had to.
Yeah.
I just finally sit back down and have to stand right back up. And it just, I've never met somebody in his situation like that. And
yeah, it's definitely a parent's worst nightmare multiple times. I mean, it's just,
So I just really need to, for him and for everybody that cared about Kay, we just really need to.
Somebody just to tell if they know something. They just.
You don't even have to say you are. They can just do it anonymously, hang up the phone, and go on, about their day.
Right. Yeah. We always, there's a tip line at the Kentucky State Police, and that's all over the group page, and they can go there, and they don't have to tell a name, or anything.
Big profile, so you don't have to give your name and
exactly,
and send it, and just let them do their job.
Yeah. Just whatever it takes to get that information to where it needs to go.
So the main things I just wanted everybody to know is, one, she didn't just go to Tennessee with a friend. It was with her mom.
It was her mom.
And she did not have a cell phone. She did not leave her cell phone at her mom's.
No.
And because I've seen some discussions out there.
Oh, yeah.
I can understand with that information out there, how it looks, but that is not the right information. She did not have a cell phone at the time, which made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
For search efforts, and
Well, so many people are like, why would she have left her cell phone? That's so confusing to people now, because everybody has a cell phone attached to the hip.
Because when I first heard about it, I was like, it kind of made me suspicious with what was given. It was like, okay, she packed a bag, she walks out. Me, as soon as I would have gotten a little bit down the road, I would have been like, oh, my cell phone. And we turn around to get it. But She did not have a cell phone.
She did not have one.
I just want.
So
I
many
think that is
people think
very.
that's so strange. Well, why didn't she have a cell phone?
There's
It's
been
like,
times where
oh,
I couldn't afford a phone. I mean, my
it's
my
not
son
working.
smashed my phone right now, and I got to get my car fixed before I get a phone. So me and my husband are sharing a phone. So
Yeah, it
it
happens. As strange as people think it is, it does happen.
right now to me, I want a car more than I want a phone. So everybody just gets a hold of me on Facebook right now.
All
So
right. That's what works.
I'm just so lucky to have a laptop, or else I wouldn't even have that option. So it happens.
Right, it does. Yep.
And it sounded like, she had more important things that she wanted to work out and take care of. And
Right.
nobody can blame her for that. It just happened to be at the time. She just did not have a cell phone.
Right. Right.
And that breaks my heart because I feel like, that could have
That would
been
have been the one thing. Yep.
yeah.
100%. I've said that a million times. If she had just had a cell phone, a cheap little cell phone, you know.
And sometimes that's just not. I've been there. I'm there.
Yep.
And I just want to make it clear to everybody that this is just not a possibility that she just left. There's nothing that I would ever say. There's not even a time where anybody I've seen brought up to where she had just went silent.
No, never. She never did that.
So
She would call her dad all the time and be like, "Hey, I'm, here with these people or whatever. I was just checking in with you." That's just how she was with him.
and that's so awesome. And I think that's
Yeah.
important.
So when she first went missing, it was like, well, maybe she's just, somewhere hanging out and trying to lay low and kind of thing. And then after, it kept passing time, it was like, man, this is not Katie. Something's wrong. So it was definitely a gut wrenching feeling.
Red flags right away.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, some people there aren't those flags right away, but for the people that are, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
People need to stay focused and not get caught up on things that are not relevant.
Right.
And so I'm glad we can clear a lot of that up because I read in groups, she was this, I think she was mad, she walked away, and like maybe,
Right.
but she was not the type to just take off. And I think
Right. That's the key.
that's the point.
So
Yes.
she, if she did walk away, something happened after that point that shouldn't have happened, or
She would have
something
made
went wrong.
communication. There's something keeping her from making that communication.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, is there anything that any misconception out there, any information out there that you want to clear up that we have not?
Not that I can really think of. Those were the couple of points that really were
And the mom,
bothersome.
I don't want anybody going after her mom. She has been clear.
It has been
Her
clear.
being the last person.
Right.
So let's not even go
Right.
down the road.
Nothing to entertain there at this point.
I've read a lot of in groups. There have been just so much.
Yeah.
And then I can talk to you in our private channel. I'm just like, that is not the stories that I'm hearing.
Right. Right. It did need to be
on what is being said here and share that out.
Right. Right. It definitely needed to be straightened out a little bit. And, we got billboards. We started the GoFundMe, and then we used that money to do billboards. We're trying to come up with a reward,
Yeah.
The GoFundMe really didn't take off very well. But,
well, if you post that, I will attach it here so that way when people share out, I have the group. If you have the tip line, if they want to go that route too, after we hop off here, just message them to me, and I will attach it right here to the video.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
And then, or in the, if I can't, I will put it in the comments. That way everybody has all avenues that they can go.
Right. Right. And anything that's donated there, like I said, we've done the billboard. We're getting some flyers together to put up. And then from that point, we'll use the rest of the money as a reward for hopefully any information that would lead to finding Katie. And
I'm sorry, money talks. And
it does.
I think a lot of the families can say, pick it up, get that money. Don't even tell us who you are. Take it and go about your day. Just please.
Yeah.
Please cash it in and go.
So we're just hoping to get some answers. That's just the main.
Yeah. Whichever way, we don't care what your intentions are, as long as it
Right.
So I just,
sorry.
I've always wanted a monkey, so I'm just loving it that you have a monkey.
Usually she'll nap, but she knows I'm in here talking, so she's like, pay attention.
Sounds like my youngest. But I will make sure to post those.
I'll send those over.
All that information.
I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you sticking up and getting that word out.
Yeah, I thank you so much for having me on so we could straighten up a lot of it and get it.
Now, if people want to go out and talk, they will have to
listen to this, and then you can take it from there.
So let's clear up some of the things that you see in the groups, people talking,
Right.
Let's just clear up those facts and get the right information out there.
Right.
So, yes, I appreciate it. I'm so bad at hanging up with people. I think it's the most awkward thing, even on the phone with people. I apologize, and that's when I really start smiling and gabbing. I'm working on it. All my friends have to hang up first because it's just I am working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just say again, thank you for having me on and for putting the information out for us. And if anybody knows anything, just come forward with it.
Yes, please talk. Please ask questions, and do it the right way. That's all we ask.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I will post all that information as soon as she sends it to me. Please share, because there's not a lot to go on. And I think this is one of those things that's going to rely on somebody coming forward, even with something that they don't think is very relevant. Let's let the right people decide that. So I will make sure you have every avenue. And like I always say, the best place would be to go is to go in the group that I have linked or posted here. Because I'm not that. I've only been, I know just as much as everybody else from this live. So please do not come to me. Please go to those people. I thank you for watching, and any information that you can give will be gladly taken. Please help us put out the right information. Share this video. Change. If you see something, let people, and after you watch this, let people know what the facts are. I think it's very important, especially in a case when there's not a lot of information out there. We need to make sure the right information is being put out there. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you, if anything, back Friday. You guys have a wonderful day.